If you are having thoughts of staying long-term in another country, then this video is for you. Over the past few months, many viewers have reached out to me asking about the different considerations involved in relocating and how I navigate through them. So I thought it would be helpful to highlight some of the most important considerations. In this video, I will walk you through 6 key factors you should think about before making a big move. Hi everyone, if you are new here, I'm SG Dad. Over the past year, I've been preparing to move my family from Singapore to Japan. Of course, this isn't just about moving to Japan. These 6 factors apply to any country you might be interested in. And before we dive into the first factor, I've actually created a free checklist that summarizes all of these key considerations. You can download it using the link in the description below. Are you relocating alone, as a couple without kids, or as a family? Your life stage is going to make a huge difference in your planning. If you are single or part of a couple without children, your options are much more flexible because you don't have to worry about things like your children's education or dependent visas. Even when it comes to housing, you won't be tied to areas with schools nearby, and you can choose to stay in a really rural and off-city areas. On the other hand, if you have children or elderly parents, your relocation plan will definitely become more complex. And if you have elderly to take care of, you also have to consider the care arrangement, whether you are bringing them along with you or having some kind of arrangement back in your home country. What are your reasons for relocating? Is it just for new work opportunities or a sabbatical like trying out living overseas for a year or two? Or are you planning to retire permanently? And do you intend to return to your home country eventually? With that, you also need to think long term. Are you planning to apply for permanent residency or even citizenship in the future? As all these may affect how you approach the visas and how you are going to live there. So for example, in Japan, in order to get permanent residency, you need to be a resident for 10 years, and in that 10 years, you will need to have at least a 3 years long-term visa. And not only that, in a year, you have to be in the country for a certain number of days. You cannot be absent from the country for a long period of time. So do make sure you research on the different requirements if you're aiming for a certain kind of status in a new country. These decisions will impact also the types of visa you need, the taxes you might face, and how you structure your finances. For example, many countries impose estate tax, gift tax, exit tax, which don't apply in Singapore. So if you're planning to stay long term, this is something to consider seriously. Your financial situation is one of the most important factors, and it probably is the top concern for most people, especially if you are not planning to get a job in the country of interest. So are you going to sustain your lifestyle through passive incomes from dividends, rental properties, or other investments? If you can generate active income, that will be more ideal, such as having a remote job or freelance gigs, or even do day trading, anything that can be done with just an internet connection. Beyond income, it is also important to evaluate your assets. If you own property in Singapore or in your home country, consider whether it's fully paid off or still under mortgages. And for Singapore, you have to check your CPF ordinary account funds and whether they are enough to continue servicing the loan while you are overseas. Look at the rental property potential of your properties as well as whether they can generate a steady income to support your lifestyle abroad. You got to also review on your retirement savings. For Singapore, we have the CPF, which is equivalent to the 401k in US. Check if you have met the full retirement sum, how much you can withdraw at age 55, and what kind of monthly payouts to expect once you reach 65. You'll be able to use some online calculator to get this information, and they are very crucial if these are your main sources of income. And lastly, consider the currency risk and don't forget to account for fluctuations as well. Healthcare is often overlooked, but it's very important, especially if you're in your 50s or 60s and considering staying overseas for a long period of time. Does your existing insurance cover you while you're abroad? And are you able to access the public or private healthcare easily in the new country? And also, what are the costs like? For example, in Japan, the public health care is very comprehensive and heavily subsidized. So for us, we are not too worried about that. But that may not be the case in other countries. But there's one thing that can make or break the deal, and that is the visa. Without a suitable visa, you won't be able to stay long term. Some countries offer retirement visas, digital nomad visa, or business visas. You will need to make sure the visas matches your lifestyle and long-term goals. In Japan, for instance, there's no retirement visa, but they do have a business manager visa, which is the one I'm applying for. If you're curious, I've made a video on that. You can check it out over here. And Malaysia offers the MM2H visa, which is a retirement visa. And that's very popular among Singaporeans and to people who are interested in retiring in Malaysia. The first 5 factors are all the hard facts, but the last factor is more of a personal factor and preference, and it can be very subjective. For the country of interest, are you able to integrate into the local culture, handle the language barrier if there is one, or feel safe and comfortable in your daily life? Living somewhere long term is very different from visiting as a tourist. So you have to try spending time in the residential areas, doing the boring daily tasks there, and not just stay around the tourist spots. And from there, you will be able to observe the lifestyle and social norms of the locals. Many people ask why we didn't choose Australia and chose Japan instead. It's a popular destination among Singaporeans, and we do love its nature and lifestyle as well. But personally, we feel more at home in Asian countries, especially when it comes to food and cultural familiarity. These small things can make a huge difference if you are planning to settle down long term. I also came across foreigners who decided to return to their home countries after spending some time in Japan. Many arrived full of excitement and high expectations, but found it difficult to adapt to Japan's rigid work culture, social expectations, and the sense of isolation that can come with living abroad. I touched on some of these challenges in a previous video. These 6 factors have really shaped how we approach our move to Japan. And yes, our choice is personal. We love Japanese culture, the respect for personal space, and the general lifestyle. Many of you has highlighted some flaws that Japan has. It has its challenges such as natural disaster, difficulties in integration, but for us it checks many of the other boxes we care more about. And we believe that is the place we want to live in for the next phase of our life. Different countries appeal to different people, and regardless of which country you are considering, I hope this video gave you a clearer framework to start planning and to help you take the next step. I've created a free relocation readiness checklist and covers all the 6 factors and key questions to think about. So download it using the link below, print it out, go through it with your spouse or family. I believe it will help you gain clarity before diving into research or applying for visas. So if you found this helpful, do consider subscribing, and I will see you in the next video.